the fact that she is expecting a child. Um, it's not my intention to advocate for anybody to be in custody and give birth, but given the litany of cases that have occurred, 4 or 5 cases, while she's already on felony probation, I think we may need a little bit of time in custody to kind of deter this behavior and the path that she is on. I know probation is requesting 2 years. I think that it would be a little high, but I do think releasing her today would not be enough. And so I will defer to the court on a happy medium in between those two asks for Miss McBurrows.
Okay. Ms.
And Judge,
McBurrows.
Judge, can I add one
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
If you're going to give her further custody time, Judge, we'd ask that you make an accommodation where she's able to at least be able to give birth to her child when she's released. Understanding obviously during the current case law, anything that you revoke, she's not getting credit for the time, which is still an interesting case to me. That she's not getting credit, she's not getting credit for the time that she has against whatever sentence you give her. And I believe
Right.
she has a hold for Gwinnett that she's still going to have to appear and address that case as well. So again, she still has to bounce her way through the system, and I'm just asking you to take that into consideration.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. And I have to be reminded from time to time by Ms. Simpson, who is my DCS partner here in court, that I can't give credit for time served. And so if I settle on a number, I always need to subtract the amount of time that the probationer has been in custody. Our system shows 65 days, not 70, but it's not going to matter here. It's between 60 and 70. Ms. McBurrows, Mr. Booker mentioned it. I just didn't write it down. You are pregnant. How far along are you?
4 months.
You're 4 months? Do you have a due date or that's too far out?
Too far out.
Okay.
Judge, I forgot to mention, obviously, her father is there. She could be placed on an ankle monitor and house arrest if the court wanted to have her in further confinement time as well, so she can get prenatal care. But again, that's the last thing I have to say. I'll mute it out from here.
Okay. Each time you've chipped in, though, it's been helpful. I appreciate that. Last thing, Ms. McBurrows is a first offender right now. I suspect Mr. Booker wants first offender status to remain in place. Does the state or in talking with DCS, has there been a development of what should happen with that?
We didn't, I don't think, had a conversation about first offender. At this time, we're not seeking to revoke it because right now these are just kind of allegations, although some of the reports that I read are substantive. But at this time, we're not seeking to revoke first offender status.
Okay. Got it. Ms. McBurrows, is there anything you want to add or any questions about anything we've discussed?
Yes. Is there a possibility of house arrest or going to a program or anything like that?
What kind of program do you have in mind?
Like Hope program or something like that. I'm actually in a program while I'm incarcerated, and I have some certificates for the things that I've completed, like anger management. I've done 21 days of anger management. I've done parenting class. I have a cosmetology a cosmetology scholarship for any school that I wanted to go to. I've got my PEACH certificate. I have a couple of certificates actually for the classes that I have completed. So I am trying to comply and just be back into normal population.
Well, have you been at the city jail? Is that where you're being housed at ACDC?
DC, yes, sir.
Have you been taking medication while you've been there?
Yes.
And what is the medication supposed to be treating?
For my mood disorder and my depression and anxiety.
Okay. When you were not at the city jail and were bopping around with that gentleman, Harris, you said was his last name, Mr. Harris, were you taking your medication?
No, I was not at all.
Was that because you didn't like it or you didn't have it, or why would...
I didn't have it, and I didn't have a provider at the time because I
Okay.
was moving around and doing a lot of things.
What makes you think when you do get out, whether that's tomorrow or in 6 months or in 2 years, that you'd have a provider so that we could keep you on the medication you're on?
My dad has a list of providers, and we've been actually going over providers over the phone, and I'm willing to try them and get back into therapy and counseling.
Okay. Got it.
And
Okay.
she's fine with an added special condition of a probation. I know I said I wasn't gonna say anything else. She's fine with adding a special condition of probation, judge, that she takes it because I think that kind of gives the court some leverage if it's a special condition versus a general condition that she has to comply with whatever treatment her providers require. I did speak to Ms. Davis yesterday. She was very helpful in getting us to this position, but um, I just don't think it's a 2-year revocation, Judge. And again, her dad and I were on the phone last night. He has been trying to get her lined up with treatment. I think she was possibly self-medicating with marijuana rather than taking the drugs that she was supposed to take because she just didn't like taking them, as I understood.
Yep. Okay. I understand. So Ms. McBurrows, I find that you did violate the terms and conditions of your probation by all these different arrests you've had. You weren't out very long from your first case before some of this kind of stuff came up. And then it did happen a bunch of times. Mr. Booker has helped me understand what was going on in your life at the time. And it's not that you were sort of a human crime machine, but you were working through some issues without getting the medical help that you probably should have, whether that means the medication or the actual one-on-one contact with a counselor or a doctor. We need to make sure that doesn't happen again. You are seeing now the impact it has on your daughter. She doesn't have you around. And if we fast forward, it's just 5 or 6 months, and there's another little one around. And it doesn't help them in any way if you check out for a year because you stop taking your meds and take up with the next Mr. Harris or the next Mr. Sexion. And it sounds like these guys take advantage of you because they know that you're vulnerable and they do what they do with their lives, but make you a part of it. And their lives are, we steal this, we break into that, and you're suddenly in the mix.
Yes, sir.
But you are also at an age where you can't say, I didn't know any better. No one's going to buy that story. So hopefully with family support, your father and his wife, you will stay on track with taking a medication that helps you make decisions in a better way.
Yes, sir.
Ms. McBurrows, in light of your violations of probation through these multiple arrests, I'm going to revoke 4 months. I will shorten that revocation if Mr. Booker brings to me information from the doctors that you're about to have the kid. I do not mean for you to give birth while you're in custody, but you should have 5 months left before you give birth. And so the next 4 months, you're going to be in custody. I'm going to modify your probation to add a special condition that you submit to a mental health evaluation when you are released and that you follow any course of treatment that that doctor recommends. Take this medication, take that medication. That doctor will have access to your medical history and probably won't be having you take anything new and different that you haven't taken before. And if you are prescribed medication, it's a requirement of your probation to take that medication. If it's giving you side effects you don't like, talk to the doctor and that doctor can say, oh, we'll do a different medication. But you don't decide on your own, I'm done with these pills, I'm going to smoke this joint or take pills that I get from my new boyfriend. That'll be inconsistent with probation. It's going to lead to the same kind of stuff anyway. And your first child and your soon to be second child needs you to be around and focused on them and not these other things. I'm leaving in place your first offender status, but it is hanging by a thread. If we are together again because you got arrested for anything, then I'm going to resentence you on your original case. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go to jail a whole lot more, but what it will mean is that you'll have a felony. And so this vision you have, which is a great one, that maybe you're going to go to cosmetology school, learn a trade, try to practice something like that. You have to have a license to do that. And they don't hand those out to folks with felonies so easily. So you have a lot riding on keeping your first offender status. And I hope that that keeps you focused on staying current with your medication and making a different set of choices as well. I think I covered it in terms of conditions. Any other conditions you'd want to see, Ms. Davis?
Judge, I don't have all the defendant or co-defendant names, but I would like to submit the co-defendant names that we do know that she stay away or have no contact with them if possible.
Well, it's already a condition of her probation that she have no contact with Mr. Sexion. That's, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. That's the co-defendant from what I'm calling your case, the robbery to which Ms. McBurrows pled. But you also need to stay away from Mr. Harris. What's his first name?
Brandon.
Brandon. So Brandon Harris. And he may have been someone important in your life for a while, but he was important in some ways that were not healthy and safe for you.
Yes, sir.
So he'll need to not be in your life either while you were on probation. I thought about that. I'd like to do that as long as that's not going to be overreaching with them.
No, it'll just change our policy.
Okay. I'm also going to request, I can't make probation do this, but I'm going to request that you be assigned to an officer who specializes with probationers who have mental health needs, because that person is going to be much more fluent in what you can talk about. I take this medication for this, and it'll just be a better fit. Okay? Mr. Booker, anything else on behalf of Ms. McBurrows?
No, Judge, I appreciate the consideration for you and from the state.
Okay. I hope this works. More so for Ms. McBurrows' daughter and her child to be. I care about Ms. McBurrows as well, but she's a grown-up and she's making decisions now. And I hope it doesn't reach a point where either your father has to step in or DFACS has to step in and say, you're not someone who can be around these kids. That would be real sad for those kids and for you. I hope you can be a good mom for them as you go forward. Okay? Any questions about anything?
No, sir.
All right. That's it.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a good weekend, Judge. Thank you.
You too.
Well, that took a turn. This probation revocation hearing for Miss McBurrows was a careful balance between accountability and compassion, with the judge threading the needle on how to respond to a string of new arrests without derailing her entire future. The state came in clear. 4 or 5 new cases while already on felony probation was a problem. They weren't asking for the full 2-year revocation that probation suggested, but they didn't think an immediate release would cut it either. The defense, led by Mr. Booker, countered with an alternative house arrest, an ankle monitor, or a treatment program, arguing that her recent behavior was linked to untreated mental health issues. Not chronic criminal intent, McBurrows herself added meaningful context. She's 4 months pregnant, already in jail, programs like anger management and parenting classes, and holding a cosmetology school scholarship. She admitted she hadn't taken her prescribed medication while living with a man named Brandon Harris, moving around too much and without a provider, but said her father has now lined up potential doctors. She agreed to make medication compliance a special condition of probation, giving the court leverage if she ever stopped without a doctor's approval. Her father's presence, plus his willingness to house her and support her and her children, was a key part of the defense's pitch. The judge dug into the pattern. She wasn't out long before the new arrest started, and while her relationships with certain men may have put her in risky situations, she was old enough to know better. The court's concern was plain: if she stops her meds and falls in with the wrong crowd again, the cycle will repeat, harming both her 5-year-old and her unborn child. In the end, the judge revoked 4 months, with the option to shorten it if she's close to giving birth, and added a special probation condition requiring a mental health evaluation and compliance with all treatment. First offender status stayed in place, but hanging by a thread. The judge also ordered no contact with co-defendants or Mr. Harris and recommended assigning her to a probation officer specializing in mental health cases. This was a measured outcome. It recognized that while violations occurred and were serious, there's still a window for her to stabilize, stay on her meds, and keep her first offender status so she can pursue cosmetology school and a trade license. The judge closed by noting the stakes: her kids need her present, and if she blows this chance, the consequences will be long-lasting. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read everyone.